Hello everyone. Today we're going to continue the series of question and answers for Canadian citizenship test. And today we're going to focus on chapter 3, which is Canada history. This chapter is a little bit large, so we are going to have it into two parts. And we start with the first question. So first question will be, at the very beginning of Canadian history, a large number of Aboriginals died because of the. So take care of Aboriginals here. We're speaking about Aboriginal people. So first option would be European diseases toward which they had lacked immunity. P is harsh climate. C is war between the Vikings and French. And D, none of these. So actually, like for sure, it is not the harsh climate because those are the Aboriginal people which already live in Canada and they already know the climate and they can cope with it. So, and it's not a war by Vikings and the French because this is not mentioned in the book. So there's a high percentage. The right answer would be A, which is European diseases towards which they lacked immunity. So if you read the book, you will get this information. Otherwise, you can just try to like predict the answer, the most suitable answer for the question, right? Next question will be, when Europeans explored Canada, they found all regions occupied by native people called as Indians, Chinese, Vikings, and Greenlanders. So what is the name of the native people? And if you come back from chapter 2, we have the information about the Aboriginal people. They are three categories. They are Indians or First Nations, and Inuit and Métis. So the right answer for sure will be answer A, Indians. Okay. Third question. The map of Canada's east coast was first drawn by, and we remember in the summary part, in the summary videos, we said you have to focus only on the last name. So if you see the summary and read the book, you should remember the name. So the option A will be King Francis I, John Cabot, Count Frontenac, or Sergei Khariton. So the right answer for sure will be Cabot. So answer B. Okay. This question will be, who are the first Europeans ever to visit Canada? The first European ever to visit Canada: Vikings, Indians, French, or German. And this actually is mentioned in the book. The first European to visit Canada was Vikings. So the right answer would be A. Next question. The word Kanata means, it is a word from the Aboriginal people language, and actually it's from which the official name Canada came from. And Kanata means home, land, village, or Canada. For sure, it doesn't mean Canada. Canada came from Kanata, but in the Aboriginal people language, the meaning is sea, which is village. Okay. Next question will be, since when the name of Canada began to appear on the map of the world? So this is from which year the name of Canada appeared on the map: 1650, 1550, 1750, or 1850. And this is just a year which you have to know. It is not an important year actually, but I just added the question. So if you see the question several times, by chance this question came to the exam, in the exam you will remember the number. So it is 1550. Okay. Next question would be, what was the major trade present between French and Aboriginals in the late 18th century? So what's the most important trade for Aboriginal people? Actually, it was one of these options: oil, fur, or wheat, or coal. For sure, it was fur. So this is the most important trade for Aboriginal people. Okay. In 1607, who granted the Hudson Bay Company exclusive trading rights? Which king or which queen? So it's King Charles I, King Charles II, Queen Elizabeth II, or Queen Victoria. So if you see the summary or you read the book, you know it is king, not a queen. So you just choose one of these two options: King Charles I or King Charles II, and the right answer is B, King Charles II. Okay. Next question will be, in which battle did the British defeat the French at Quebec City, ending the rule of the French Empire? And we see we have three very important battles, and the first one was this battle. I mentioned this in the summary part. So it was Battle of Plains Abraham, James Bay Battle, Boer War, or First World War. For sure, the battle which ended the French Empire was option A, Battle of Plains Abraham. Okay. And next question will be, following the Battle of Plains of Abraham at Quebec City, the British renamed the colony as Ontario, Prairie Province, Province of Quebec, New Brunswick. So we know that after the war, the colony has been renamed as the first province. At the time, it was Province of Quebec, option C. Okay. The British Parliament passed the Quebec Act in 1774, and this is an important date, which restarted the system of law based on. So Quebec Act actually was to give more rights for the French-speaking Canadians, and it was related to religion, so give more rights for religion as a Catholic, also to give them rights for use their French law, and third thing, actually, to give also right to have some public offices to participate, to be able to join the parliament. Okay, so the answer, the option A will be French Civil Code, or British Criminal Law, or both A and B, and Equality Law. So before the Act, the main law which is used was the British Criminal Law or British Common Law, and then after the Act, they added also the French Civil Code. So the right answer should be for sure C, which is both A and B. Another question about this act: what benefits did the Quebec Act 1774 give to the Catholic people? So religion freedom, that was actually one of the options, religion freedom. And they can rule the British Empire, for sure they can't rule the British Empire. Still the British Empire is the ruling of Canada, but they give more rights for the French people. C, they can hold the public offices. Yes, this is one of the rights. So the right answer for sure will be D, both A and C. Okay, and just take care when you see both A and C or both A and B, read the option carefully and try to make sure it may be not the right answer, but you have to make sure that the two answers actually contribute to the question. Okay. Next question: for which purpose did the British Parliament pass the Quebec Act of 1774? This is another act. So for which purpose? Is another question about the same act. So to better govern the English Catholic, to better govern the French Roman Catholic, to better govern immigrants and armed forces, to better govern the non-official language speakers. So, and here, the act actually was to accommodate the people who speak French, and French was also one of the official language, like it was English and French. So the right answer for sure will be to better govern the French Roman Catholic. Okay. Next question: more than 40,000 people loyal to the crown fled the oppression of the American Revolution to settle in Nova Scotia and Quebec, and were declared as, what is the name of these people? Traitors, loyalists, independent, enemies. And as we know, because they are loyal to the crown or loyal to the British Empire, they were called loyalists, option B. Okay. Next question. In 1776, 13 British colonists in the south of Quebec declared independence and formed, so the part who declared independence from Canada in the south, they formed a new country, which is called United States, South America, England Independent Territory. For sure, we know that the south boundary of Canada is the United States. So the right answer will be A, United States. Okay. Which constitutional act divided Quebec into Upper and Lower Canada? And if you remember in the summary part, we have a green on this year, and this is an important date. The Constitutional Act of 1719, 1790, 1791, or 1780. For sure, it is the 1791 Act. Okay. Next question would be: in which year did the Constitutional Act pass by the British Parliament? There's another way speaking about the same. Which year for the Constitutional Act passed by the Parliament? 1791, 1781, 1771, 1761. Again, the right answer is 1791. So just this question and the previous one are two different ways to ask about the same thing, which is the year of the Constitutional Act. Okay. The next question: the Atlantic colonies and Upper and Lower Canada were collectively called, if we have the Atlantic colonies plus the Upper and Lower Canada, what was the name of this? British Canada, British North America, greatest Canada, Greater Canada or Northern States. Yeah, if you review the summary part, you know that it's called British North America, option B. Okay. Next question will be, in which part of Canada was the first representative assembly elected? So the first elected representative assembly in 1758. It was Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, or Newfoundland. Okay, if you remember from the summary, it is Halifax, and Halifax for sure in Nova Scotia. So the right answer will be C, Nova Scotia, because it was actually in Halifax, the first elected assembly. Okay. The name Canada became official in which year? So Canada has became an official name in which year? 1791, 1781, 71, or 1761. Again, it is 1791. It's also related to the Constitutional Act. So the Constitutional Act started in or happened in 1791, in which we divided Quebec into Upper and Lower Canada. At the same time, Canada has become an official name for the country. Okay. Next question, who was the founder of the city of York, which is now called Toronto? Again, we remember only the last name. So is it Governor John Graves Simcoe, or Mary Ann Shadd Curry, or Sickard, or Shannon? Yeah, if you remember, it is Simcoe, who was the first lieutenant governor. He also was the founder of Toronto, and he also was the one who started the first one to avoid slavery in Upper Canada or on Ontario. Okay, so it is Simcoe, option A. Okay, which of the following was the first ever province to move toward abolition or forbidden of slavery in 1793? Again, it was done by Simcoe, and it was Quebec, Ontario, Nova Scotia, or Newfoundland. I just said it was done by Simcoe, the founder of Toronto, so it was in Ontario, and actually it was called Upper Canada. So the option can be Ontario or Upper Canada. So it can be both. So if even you get the one of the option as an Upper Canada or Ontario. Okay. Next question will be, when did slavery become totally abolished throughout the British Empire? So again, it can ask about the place or the year. So we see here in the year, which year? It is 1793. So it should be one of the option. So option A is 1700, 1793, 1807, or 1833. For sure, the right answer will be, sorry. Yeah. So this was actually the year for Ontario, the first province. But the question here about throughout the British Empire, the whole empire, whole Canada. Oh, see, I made a mistake because I didn't actually focus on the question carefully. So you have to read the question carefully and don't be in rush. Maybe you can get the same two questions after each other. So you will assume this is the right date. No, it's not the right date because here is speaking about the whole empire. The previous question was speaking only about the first province, which is Ontario. Okay, so the right answer for sure will be 1833. 1833 for the whole empire. Okay. The next question: via which underground pathway did thousands of slaves escape from the United States and settled in Canada? The pipeline, railroad, sewerage, or tunnels. Yeah, we know that it was called a railroad movement or underground railroad institution, and this was actually a Christian anti-slavery network, which is helping slave people to move from America to Canada to settle in anti-slavery country. Okay. Next question. For centuries, Canada's economy was based on which trade? Oil, weapons, natural resources such as fur, timber, fish, ethic, slaves. Yeah, we know that from centuries, most of the important trade was actually natural resources. So the right answer will be C, natural resources, fur, timber, and fish, ethic. Next question will be, Victoria Day is celebrated on the Wednesday preceding June 25, Tuesday preceding May 25, Monday preceding May 25, Thursday preceding July 25. So the right answer for sure will be It is based on the date of uh, like the king, the queen birthday, and also it is done on Monday. So we actually, if you don't know the date, at least you know it should be know it is Monday. So if you just know it Monday, you can select C and exclude all other option, right? And if you know the date but you don't know the day, so you will be just selecting between these two because it is May 25. Okay, so the right answer will be Monday preceding May 25. Okay. This question will be the first ever companies in Canada competed for which trade? This is another way for the same question. Fur, oil, fish, weapons. Yes, the first was actually competing with Aboriginal people, and the most important trade for Aboriginal people was fur. Okay. Next question will be, what was the purpose of the War of 1812? So remember, there was an invasion done by USA against Canada, and Canada, to protect itself, she make another war against USA, and this was War of 1812. So A, to conquer USA, or for Canada to remain independent of USA, political issues or natural resources. For sure, it was to protect Canada from USA. So it was option B, for Canada to remain independent of USA. Next question would be, where did the Americans burn the government house and the parliament building in 1813? So the question here about where. It is New Brunswick, it was in Quebec, in New York, or Nova Scotia. So yeah, the parliament at this time was in New York, which is currently called Toronto. So that was actually the name of the place of the building which has been burned by USA troops. Okay. Final question. Let's see. Now Toronto. Final question for today, so which will be the first part of the history chapter. When did the United States launch an invasion in revenge for the British interference with their shipping? So it was 1832, 1812, 1870, and 1807. The same way, another way to the question, but now it is asking about the time, which will be the year, and the right answer for sure will be 1812. Okay, so this is the first part of the history chapter. Next video we continue the history chapter or history part. So thank you very much, and see you next time, and have a good day. Bye bye.